Good afternoon. I'm Jared Patota. I'm your interviewer for today, and I'm interviewing my mom, Karen Patota, and talking to her today about her organization, how it's run, and a little bit about her. Thank you very much for the fisherman. Am I getting that name right? Correct? Okay. Thank you for providing the equipment for today so that we can properly film this. My mom here, Karen Patota, successfully started Baby's Breath 24 years ago. She has written a book called Creating Compassionate Spaces, and she's here today to give a little bit more of a personal take on what this book says. For those who haven't read it, give people a perspective from where she came from and then how she ran an organization that seeks to bring life into the world when it seems to be very easy to neglect it. So welcome to this podcast, Mom. First question is, what does a baby's breath do that would be something that most people wouldn't know without looking too hard?
Most people think that the only thing pro-life organizations do is just have a mother choose life. And our organization is one of many that provide actual services for the choices for life. A Baby's Breath first started with just giving things away without any earning points or anything like that. And it wasn't until we started to establish services in year 2 that we had a criteria for how we gave away our baby items.
So you didn't want to just give things away. You thought it'd be better if they earned things?
There was a nun, Sister Nora from Cora, who taught me how to set up a baby store. She had a center down in Philadelphia, not near as big as what we had up here, obviously. That she assigned a point value, and every time they would come in and talk about their situation, she would give them points. And they could spend the points however way they wanted to. They earned the credits.
So your organization was out to make people basically earn their way out of whatever crisis they were in.
It was a dignified way.
Instead of coming back every month or every week or every day and taking a free sample but not actually improving their daily life.
Right. Well, when we first opened up, this is not our first center. Our first center was 450 square feet over in Fairview Village. And our center would be bankrupted of baby items every so often because they would just back up the taxis, load up our stuff, and leave. So Sister Nora taught me that this is how you establish services, that you can have time with the clients.
So what would you say a Baby's Breath's mission is?
We started with the mission to help a mother to see her child take his or her first breath, but we've gone well beyond that. We try and help before a crisis pregnancy occurs, during the crisis pregnancy, and then after.
Okay. And you think that your main goal is to not just support the child being born, but also the mother.
Not
correct?
Just the mother, the father, the grandparents, the aunts, the friends, anybody that's connected to a crisis pregnancy is who we help.
Okay. And I guess, how do you feel your mission has been successful? How many, do you have a number of crises that you think you've saved or?
It's hard to put a number on how many quote unquote babies saved. I know that we've helped thousands with their choices for life. And our criteria of success is measured by our faithfulness.
You said you offer services, not just goods. What kind of services would you say you offer?
So the private pregnancy counseling and individual parenting classes, they ask a mother and sometimes a father, when did they see themselves through the crisis? And some have to find a job. Some need to find permanent housing. They define what their crisis is so they can move through it.
And then when's the point where they say that they no longer need you anymore? Is that something?
If they've accomplished goal A, B, and C that they've established initially with us, then it's a self-determined kind of thing. And we've established a program called the Independence Program, which I've mentioned the baby store, which gives baby items for goals achieved. Clients that qualify to get into our Independence Program can actually earn real dollars.
What is the Independence Program again?
It's a 4-year program currently that gives up to $2,500 a year towards goals that have been accomplished, like getting a new job, or there's a board that decides what goals should be awarded and how much.
So it's another incentive to basically not just come for free stuff, but come to work your way out of crisis.
Yep.
I gotcha. Okay. Do you want to tell me a little bit about before A Baby's Breath was in your head? What was your journey into pro-life?
So I walked into my first Respect Life meeting when Josh, your older brother, was born. And I did a number of different things. I prayed in front of abortion clinics. I worked for political candidates. I spoke in high schools. And then in 2000, after our Respect Life committee had a run for life, we had $5,000. And it was either give that money to another organization or start one. And there was no crisis center in the area, Norristown. So we just started the organization with 4 people, 5 if you include your sister, who I was expecting.
So you only started A Baby's Breath with 4 people total?
Yes. And that is the strength of the organization. We can utilize minimal amount of people to do great things.
What about, did you have any aspiration to say, well, can I just run things myself? Why did you need 3 other people to help you with it?
Well, it wasn't a great time to start an organization. I was expecting my 4th baby, homeschooling 2 kids. And I just assumed I would start the organization and the perfect person would walk through the door. But that didn't happen for 5 years. So I said, okay, God, I will use the time that I have available to figure it out, how to make it work. And then I had to come up with a recipe for leadership to replace me, because after 5 years, it was getting a little bit, cumbersome. So I came up with a shared leadership approach for each center. And then that's how we grew from 1 center to 5.
Okay. So when you managed to find that you had people that could help you, how did you manage your workload? Was it like, a certain amount of time of your life that would go towards, or was it all of it?
So what I recommend for anybody that wants to try and start an organization, they compartmentalize their life because it can be overwhelming. And you know that I didn't have a family meeting every time A Baby's Breath crisis came about. So it's really important to keep the organization more or less separate from your family life. And I make more or less a guarantee and a strong recommendation to our volunteers to keep consistent time for A Baby's Breath, but not 40 hours, because I didn't have it initially and I never did.
And your organization, is it completely volunteer?
We stipend a couple key positions, like the home that we have that houses mothers and pregnant mothers only currently. The house mother, she gets the largest stipend actually of anyone in the organization. And then
person who has the home for the women.
Stays there. She sleeps there.
Okay.
And she maintains the security in the home.
That's just the one service for the housing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the housing director, we stipend her. and then some key positions around the organization, but the house mom makes the most money. And yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And then I guess you sort of talked about it, but what inspired you to say, well, if I can't find someone to replace me, I guess it's got to be me?
I think the strength that I have is I'm not a social worker by training. So I'm an engineer by training. And what I've come up with at A Baby's Breath is a system that can be repeated. There's some consistency between transitions. Every company, every organization has transitions, and A Baby's Breath has figured out the formula to make do when some of those key positions are not there.
Yeah, 24 years of going on. Must be doing something right to transition. I guess kind of got through my intro, but do we want to go into our topic discussions now?
Sure.
Okay.